Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. I analyzed about the by-elections in Kakamega and Mombasa, that they were going to be used as indicators about the mood of the country. And the UDA team and William Ruto's handlers must be getting worried with whatever is happening in those two areas. And I analyzed here that UDA party withdrew strategically from these two by-elections, and William Ruto did not go back to campaign for Cleophas Malala after the August 9th general election. Neither did he campaign in Mombasa. And when I was going through the comment section, I've seen contribution from members of this channel on what had really caused that. Now, today, you will realize that in social media, there are videos that are showing the kind of rebellion that William Ruto's agents, supposedly agents, were facing in different areas, or rather were facing in Mombasa and Kakamega. Remember, at this time, there is an orientation exercise that is going on in Parliament, and that is why you'll realize that most agents who are sent there were those who probably lost seats. And secondly, they also used agents or other politicians who were just seasoned or maybe that had served in the parliament, so that orientation was not was not necessary, or rather a must for them. That is why in Mombasa, you could see photos of Aisha Jumwa. She vied in Kilifi as a governor and lost. There was also Moses Kuria, vied governor's post in Kiambu, lost. There was also Caleb Kosetan, vied, I think, lost nominations to Nsingisho as governor. And also in Kakamega, I think there was Nyoro and the rest of the team. So there are these videos that I want you to check out, because these videos, I've just collected them. They are both from Mombasa and Kakamega. And I will try to look at, I'll try to do, delve deep on them after you watching.
Ufanye nini? Ni pesa ngapi? Ni ngapi? Na bado unagawa pesa? Bado unagawa? Pesa ngapi wamekupa? Pesa ngapi? Pesa ngapi? Wewe, baba wewe. Mangi wacha hizo. Elefu? Wewe unapewa pesa kwa nini? Wewe sana, wekwe ndani. Roro uko na 200 na utatoa. Roro uko na 200 na utatoa. Toke bwana. Roro uko na 200 na utatoa. Na wekwe ndani. Na wekwe ndani. Ama tolewe tupanguze. Kuiba kura yetu na tutaruhusu. Hawezi tena kuharibu masuala ya kujenga. Kuiba kura yetu.
Now, in Mombasa, Aisha Jumwa and Moses Kuria faced the wrath of the voters. The same fate is also what Nyoro saw in Kakamega, where the irate voters descended on them. And both two instances, if you listen to those clips, you will hear undertones of voter bribery. Now, the mzee that is also in that clip has also really caught my eyes when he was publicly confessing that he was sent by Cleophas Malala by some 4,000 shillings. Honestly, 4,000 ni pesa kidogo sana hata kupatia mzee eti aende agawe. Hiyo ni pesa kidogo sana. But then, the point is not in the amount of money, but you could see what was happening in this by-election. And as I said, that it was going to give indicator on the mood of the country. And the president-elect, sitting with Form 34D, which is the presidential certificate, I think here in Nairobi, must be getting worried to just, if the Supreme Court is going to get it his way, the kind of country that is going to inherit. the fifth president of Republic of Kenya, will then have to understand that this country needs a therapy. From those videos, you can see open rebellion, you can see rejection, and quite bit of an anger amongst those voters. And I can tell you that absence of war is not the definition of peace. And the fact that you see people are quiet and there is a bit of calm, it is just that people are very peaceful, but behind closed doors and in their hearts, there is hidden anger. That hidden anger is what you can see in those videos. And I want just to look at it there. So, in the light of these two by-elections, that public rebellion that is playing out, what do you think is bringing that? And that is what should worry Mr. Politician. Mr. Politician should actually acknowledge that this country needs more than just a president-elect or more than just a president, but you need a unity call. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our video. I want to remind us about 50 shillings SARA support to support one of our own who is in Kenyatta Hospital suffering acute leukemia. We had been doing this fundraising, and of course the balance is now standing at 215,000. After doing 15 days extension of the first 21 days, I've been in a position to collect over now 138,000 out of the 215, and I believe that the challenge that will be ending on 5th September will help us, will be enough to achieve the target. Kindly contribute, and I want to say thank you. Ben, thank you. Mercy, Mary, yes, I just to say one word because some of us, maybe some members will not want to be revealed. Betty, asanteni sana. I am just so glad on this, and I can say that when all of us will go to Kenyatta to discharge Sarah, it will be joy on my heart. That will really make me happy, man. Asanteni sana for doing this. Now, you can put through my number is there, 0710 62 78 89. The name will appear Kevin Olo. And you can also reach out directly to Sarah. Her number is 07 16 357 360, Sarah Onyango. Guys, why do you think Kenyans are angry? Why are Kenyans this angry? And I want to tell you that this election petition is questioning the eligibility of the president-elect. What Aisha Jumwa, Moses Kuria, and Nyoro are faced in both Kakamega and Mombasa just shows you this is just a cross-section of Kenyans. I wish you can even call a rerun or a re-election in some of these areas. You can see this can explode. And maybe Kenyans they were just looking for opportunity to show and to register their frustration. The rigging narrative, the rigging scheme that is making the basis of Azimio la Umoja's Supreme Court case, as I normally insist, that the case is not only being executed in Supreme Court, but the case is also being executed in the public court. And the public court is sitting pretty uncomfortable with the fact that there is a probability that election was rigged. And the rigging narrative is what can attribute to this. And I remember in one of my videos I mentioned, Kenyans need to see this. The Supreme Court case is not a case to determine who wins, who won. This case will not end at just ending electoral justice. But on William Ruto's side, or on the government of the day, it will boost the legitimacy because there is the threshold of legitimacy of the fifth president is at stake. So this Supreme Court, because that is the apex court, it's going to help this. There is this anger because there are people who fail. And of course, this is something that is in the public domain, that perhaps the winner of the August 9th general election was not added the certificate. And that is the big thing. Now, the public protest is directly on Ruto's win. This protest is not whatever was happening there. And if you listen to those clips, those Kenyans were actually talking about hamwezi tuibie August ya urais tena mkuje mtuibie hapa. You can see that the problem may not be the fact that there were some elements of bribery or maybe those instances. And if you want to know that what I'm saying is really the protest is on the national vote, is because, for example, in some instances, Jumwa, I think that was in Mombasa, hakuna mtu alimpata akipeana pesa. I don't think even Moses Kuria was nabbed dishing out money. But the fact that they just saw Kenya Kwanza, when they just saw a leader from Kenya Kwanza going to those areas, for them, they saw people who have gone there to rig elections. Well, honestly, there is no evidence. But I need to tell the Kenyan voter something, that while you want to register your dissatisfaction, but you must be very careful, because Mr. Politician is armed. You're not armed. I looked at some of those clips, and I'm not saying that the Kenyan voter is gullible or is vulnerable, but of course you have to be very sensitive to the fact that, well, you can go confrontational. We have more than enough cases in this country where politicians confront voters, and to an extent of even shooting. In Bungoma, there was such an incident. In by-election, I think Aisha Jumwa was facing such charges. And so they should also be very careful and do it with decorum. I could see some that were going to the extreme. Now, that protest, I want to say, was on Ruto's win. Now, you could also see the issue of voter bribery. Now, voter bribery, I think, is a tradition that maybe Kenyans are now seeing as it's part of a tradition in a by-election, even the general election. But of course, there is the vigilance is normally very strong at the general election. But the elements of voter bribery. Remember, we are in a global village, and social media is spreading information as fast as you can think. So when there is maybe someone goes before someone went to vote, you realize, oh, hii inafanyika. This shows you that already mtu tu akiona tu mtu mwingine, another politician there, sees voter bribery. Even though I want to say that there were instances, there are these clips where we've also seen where some were actually arrested, like that gentleman who was actually paid to bribe voters. That is something that you can openly see there. So this is a very key thing. But there is something, and finally this is what is playing out, that politicians must then appreciate, that we have a divided country. This country, the anger that is there, the person that is going to take over from President Uhuru Kenyatta, if that transition happens soon as we may want, then that person must call for unity. That person must call for unity. The country is divided. I want to say the country is peacefully divided. And the division is not between them. The division is between Mr. Politician. I support X, you support W. The division is not between people who stay in a place. The division is between the political inclinations. And these political inclinations are going to hurt legitimacy of a government. This public hostility, someone can look at it in terms of, can frame it political by saying that this region or Kakamega and Mombasa are ODM zones, so these are just ODM goons. You can take it very simplistic and just justify it by saying that. But one thing you must see and you must appreciate is that the stability of a country is important. It's easy to say that these are goons, those are goons. But to the Kenyan, to the foreign investor that wants to invest in Kenya, when he sees these clips and these videos, they see hostility, they see instability, and that will affect policies in terms of investments and even smooth running of government. These are things that cannot be underestimated. Guys, this was Kakamega. Of course, we're waiting for results. In the light of, as we wait for the results, as maybe the results are going to come out tonight, this hostility and rebellion on UDA politicians, in your own perspective, what do you think could be bringing that? And is it something that should worry the political class?